Welcome to Entrepreneurial Entrails for some short stories on the guts and glories of being an entrepreneur. Hey, it's Elizabeth Plouffe, and welcome to Wise Word Wednesdays. Full disclosure, I have been off for a little while. I am getting over a pretty wicked cold with bronchitis, so you haven't heard from me for a while. But I have some funky news for me. I checked my SoundCloud account where I host all this stuff. It's on iTunes and it's on a bunch of other places, but it's over 3,000 listens. I was like, damn, that's exciting. So it kind of ties into the book we're going to talk about today and one of the sections that I'm going to read to you. And so today I'm going to be talking to you about Carrie Green. And Carrie Green is based in the UK, and she runs an organization called the Female Entrepreneur Association. And so I'm just going to be going onto their webpage and trying to find some information for you. I mean, it is in the book. I think it was like 2011 she started talking about creating it and what have you, and I could very well go down and anyway, I probably should. Sorry, babbling a little bit. This is what happens when you don't do this for a little while. You sort of get off your game. And if I start to cough, I'll try and pause, but I apologize. So the Female Entrepreneurs Association is an interesting organization that is specifically around building business. It also has some inspirational component and what have you. It's very pink and gold. And for me, I'm not a very pink and gold kind of girl. So initially I was a little put off. I find it hard. This is not being judgy pants, but for me anyway, I just find it hard to take this kind of setup anyway, seriously. However, one of the reasons I'm here today to talk about this is because I'm glad I did. I'm a very type A, get her done business kind of woman, and I'm not very fussy as far, high maintenance as far as nails and hair and all that kind of stuff. So, it was my prejudice, and I'm here to encourage you today that if you have prejudices or preconceived notions about organizations, to sort of take the opportunity to embrace and get over it. And one of the reasons I'm really excited to talk to you today about Carrie Green and the Female Entrepreneur Association is that I signed up. I actually can't even remember how I found Carrie Green. I mean, I was obviously searching female entrepreneurs because I look at Arianna Huffington and Marie Forleo and Oprah Winfrey and all of that. And she popped up, and I have a thing for the UK because that's where my family's from. And I just started following her and checking in with her stuff. And a couple of months ago, I must have got an email. So this is where, the plug for email marketing can work. And if you pre-ordered her book for $15, you got the opportunity to go through her goal setting workshop. And that could also be how I found her. I was looking for goal setting exercises and what have you. And so I got an opportunity to partake in this goal setting workshop that she offered. And it was a progressive course, so you didn't get access to the rest of the material until you completed it. And I found it extremely helpful. I was really surprised at how helpful I found it. I did have to get over components of it. I find the language a little fluffy, a little pink and shiny. And again, that's more me than her because what she offers is valuable. Strongly encourage you to take a look at the Female Entrepreneur Association and the different resources that they offer. And she has a very strong Facebook community, and she's worked very hard on that. And she's all about the focus and overcoming the struggle and identifying what you want and going for it. So if you go on to the Female Entrepreneur Association's About page, I'm more expected to have a little bit about her, which I'm quite surprised there isn't. But she says here, or they say here, the Female Entrepreneur Association is an online hub with the mission of inspiring and empowering women from around the world to turn their ideas into reality, build successful businesses, and live a life they love. We believe that every single one of us has the ability to achieve incredible things, and life is too short to waste the opportunity to make it happen. However, sometimes the entrepreneurial journey can be challenging. And she lists some challenges. You want to make it happen, but you just don't have a clue how to do it. You feel like you're stuck, you're fed up, and just want to break free and do whatever you're supposed to be doing in life. You feel isolated and lonely because you don't know any other like-minded people. See, coughing. To talk about what you're going through building your business. And so she goes on to say here, by being an entrepreneur and turning, she has a spelling mistake, FYI, Carrie Green. Turning your ideas into a reality is like being on a roller coaster ride in the dark. You feel alone, you feel scared. There are ups and downs, you haven't got a clue what's coming next, but all the while you're feeling exhilarated, it's exciting. You're smiling even though on the inside you're thinking, what the hell am I doing? Well, we all have that. So anyway, I went through, I believe some of the resources are available on the FA. Oh, here we go. Sorry, I'm just kind of going through the website here. Oh, you have to enroll, and then you get an opportunity to get access to more freebies and workshops and things like that. And it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. I really enjoyed doing the challenges and the exercises that were sent. I did them a little differently than what she handed out. She actually sends you quite well constructed worksheets. I ended up using my passion planner and translating it into there. So, went through and did all of that. Obviously, there are fees, and she's got a really terrific membership model that she's set up that I'm investigating. She's got webinars. She's got all kinds of stuff that you can get into. So what I wanted to talk to you today was about how she's taken this online resource that she's built over, I believe, the last 5 years, and how she's now turned it into a book, which I think is, the logical extension of the experience that she's had. She went through school to be a lawyer and, trained to do some stuff. She ended up starting a business for unlocking cell phones, which it talks about it here in the book. And also, I apologize, I can't remember the total journey, but she's definitely got an entrepreneurial can-do spirit, and she researches, which is one thing that I love. She definitely educates herself and doesn't just sort of jump in willy-nilly, which drives me banana pants. So if you have a look at the book, so it's Carrie Green. She Means Business, again, pink and shiny, but it's a pretty good book. And she talks about, it's very female oriented. So if you're a guy listening to this, I'm very sorry. If you have a female entrepreneur in your life, this is definitely a resource for them, or you're in touch with your feminine side, go for it. I mean, there's definitely valuable advice, but she does talk a lot about asking the universe for what you want and going wildly after your dreams, and what I would consider very female oriented messaging, which of course Female Entrepreneurs Association makes sense. So it's a bit male exclusive. Sorry, boys. So the book is broken down into 3 parts. Part 1, she shows up for her dreams, and the way she's written the book is in a mix of first person experience and then recounting stories from successful female entrepreneurs that she knows. And then she ties that up at the end of each chapter with the title, She Takes Action, which is one thing I really like about the book and the way it's put together, is that she provides you these stories and these inspirations, and then she gives you things to do to move forward. Because sometimes it's very challenging to be inspired by somebody and then not know what to do with it. So I really like that aspect of the book. Part 1, she shows up for her dreams. Part 2, she gets herself out there to shine. Part 3, she's unstoppable. And then she's got a 28-day She Means Business challenge, which I have not started yet. But again, I have gone through her other course, which I recommend you take a look at. So I'm just going to read you a couple of things. This is more challenging than the other books to read from because it is written in her first person voice, and that's just a little odd, and it's for a reading out loud perspective. But there is one chapter one section in the first section called What If. So I am going to read that because it's really good. And I took a course, 20 odd years ago, on the uselessness of what if. Definitely from a strategic perspective, you want to what if up to a point. But if you allow what ifs to stop you from doing and achieving, then you're getting suckered into the uselessness of what if. And especially, I took it because my dad had passed away and, having some challenges getting past that. And really the reality of, I would say, oh, what if he hadn't died? But the truth was he had, and what ifing wasn't going to change that. So it's getting over regret, and it's getting over the uselessness of getting caught up in what you can't change. So she says here, what if? What and if are two words as non-threatening as words can be, but put them together side by side and they have the power to haunt you for the rest of your life. And that is from Letters to Juliet by Jose Rivera and Tim Sullivan. And she writes, the most common reason why our ideas stay in our head is because of two little words, what if? What if it doesn't work out? What if people don't like it? What if no one buys? What if people laugh? What if I can't do this? What if I get the pricing wrong? What if it's not good enough? The list goes on and on with reasons for why it's not a good idea to go full speed ahead toward making your ideas a reality. When you think of the what ifs, you hold yourself back, overthink everything, doubt yourself, self-criticize, procrastinate, and get stuck. Then most of the time you end up pushing the idea to the back of your mind. It was a silly idea anyway. But was it? Or are you just fooling yourself because you're too scared and don't have a clue how you're going to do it, so you get caught up in the doubts that you can't see a way of figuring out? What if we take the what ifs and flip them on their head? What if it's wildly successful? What if people love it? What if everyone buys it? What if people smile? What if I can do this? What if I get the pricing spot on? What if it is a better life than I could have ever imagined? Things don't need to be perfect. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to allow yourself to move forward. And she puts a little quote here. It says, choose to listen to and follow the voice that encourages you to move in the directions of your dreams, which is, a bastardization of the Thoreau quote, move confidently in the direction of your dreams. But the interesting thing is also, we were talking last night at the Women in Tech Ballsy evening workshop, and it was about, we were actually learning about market segmentation, but we got into the loss of opportunity that women can face versus men. And this also ties into an event that I was at on Friday with Kirstine Stewart, who was the previous senior VP for Twitter in media. And she pointed out, and again, this one's for the girls a little bit, that in the job application situation, any kind of situation, men will apply for a job if they meet a minimum of 60% of the required needs. So in any opportunity, they will evaluate. And if they're 60% prepared, they'll go for it. Women, however, need to be as close as 100% as possible in order to pursue opportunities like applying for a job. And we do ourselves a huge disservice with that. And over the past year, with my business especially, and this might come from having reached F-it, where you just decide that getting trapped behind what ifs and not being 100% is exhausting, and it's not worth not going for it. So when you reach F-it, you are definitely more likely to get over the 100% requirement and get past the what ifs and just go for it. And so anyway, we're going to go back to the book here. So you go into, sorry, I'm a little off the path here. It's in the second section, and it's under your audience. Step 2, your audience. Who are your audience? I believe that should be who is your audience, but that's just me. And she goes into a section here that also ties into our workshop last night about market segmentation. And she talks about how, you cannot, your services will never be good for everybody. It's just the way the world works. And she says here, when you're building and finding your audience and what have you, remember, you can adjust as you build. It's all an evolution. It's all a journey with twists and turns. So do what you can now with what you know to get as clear as possible about who your audience is and dig deeper as you go. The main reason why you want to understand your audience as much as possible is because throughout your entrepreneurial journey, you'll need to take your lead from them. So important. So many entrepreneurs get this part wrong. They think their business is all about them, their dreams, their desires, their goals. But if you want to make your business a success, then you have to shift your focus from yourself to your audience. Your business is not about you. It is about them, your wonderful audience. It's about their needs, their desires, their problems and challenges, and it's up to you to understand them as much as possible. And she puts here, The more connected you are with your audience, the more you'll be able to resonate with them. And that's so true. When you, especially if you're drafting up a proposal or what have you for a project, and you go at it from the I solution versus your solution, you're not really addressing what your client needs. You are looking at it from a very selfish perspective of how it actually serves you. And that's never a good way to go. You definitely need to be extremely aware and in touch with what your audience wants, and providing that in a way that they understand and that they need it delivered. So we go on towards the end, and she's got honor the process, which is extremely true, and more so when you're getting into your third year. Your first year is just crazy pants. I don't care who you are. I mean, your head is so far up your butt as far as trying to figure out what you're doing and moving forward, and whether you're in that state consistently or just periodically, it can be challenging to see past that head up your assedness. So she says you're on to the process. The entrepreneurial journey pushes us to do things we've never done before. It forces us to dig into the depths of who we are in order to show up and make stuff happen. While there are times when we feel so excited, inspired, and fired up, there are also times when we feel like everything is ridiculously tough and impossible. It's all a part of the process, and we need to honor it because there is no way around it. As much as you'd like, you can't skip the tough bits. Those tough bits are there for a reason. They help you to fine-tune who you are, what you like and don't like, and what works for you. The more you get to know yourself, the more intuitive you become, which will be invaluable in helping you navigate the way forward. Even when you feel really unsure or downright miserable, know that you have to keep moving forward in the direction of your dreams, and as you do, the only place you're going is upward. So not in a self-serving perspective, but in understanding, and we talked about this again last night, what types of clients you want to work with. In your first year, you might grasp at everything because you're desperate to get your business up and going. And you'll learn soon enough that that's a dangerous way to go. You will end up in situations with clients who are not a good fit for you. Not the other way around. You're a great fit for them because you're so desperate for work, you'll do whatever it takes. But it ends up sucking the energy out of you and your ability to continue building your business and being in love with your business, which you need to be. So everybody has to go through that. I went through that. Everybody I know goes through that. It's getting out the other side of that and remembering that what you're doing has value and it's part of the process. You can't really have that introspective moment until you're a year out of it, but it is what it is. So towards the end, celebrate the wins. And this is something that a friend of mine told me a couple of years ago, and I've done a quick podcast on it as far as I celebrate my wins with Glam Jewels jewelry or a new book or something like that. But nothing expensive, nothing extravagant, but just something that makes me smile and provides me with an opportunity to look back on it and remember the success of that and how it felt. So she says here, celebrate the wins. I find that we entrepreneurs are so goal-oriented that often we achieve something and straight away we're on to the next goal, and we never ever stop to take it all in and celebrate. But the simple act of celebrating can help us to become unstoppable because it makes us take a step back and recognize the progress we're actually making. So if you get a new customer, celebrate. If you reach a subscriber, fan, follower goal, celebrate. If you learn a new lesson, celebrate. If a customer says something amazing about you or your business, celebrate. She suggests creating a folder called Amazing Feedback. That's not as much fun as jewelry or books, but you do what works for you. Celebrate your wins, big, small, or tiny, and feel good about them. Crack out the champagne, do a happy dance, share your success with someone else, and be proud of yourself. So again, I'm at the end of the book, so there's less action items that are, as you get further into the book. She, for an example, I'm here at the end of the chapter on money, and she talks about affirmations. I'm all over the place here. Money blocks. Anyway, they're there. So when you're learning the business lessons that she's imparting, she also gives you an opportunity to to apply them. And again, it puts you into this community of resources that are available on the FEA website. So I recommend that you take a look. If you are not pink and shiny, like I'm not pink and shiny, don't dismiss it. It's definitely not for everybody, but it's definitely worth having a look at. I've really enjoyed it. I've learned a lot from Carrie Green. I think she's definitely doing a great thing and building a great thing for women. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to be getting back on track with the podcast. I thank you very, very much for listening so far and kicking me over the 3,000 mark. I really, really appreciate that. And that's just on SoundCloud. So I might have to go out and get a latte or something, because that doesn't include Player and Google and iTunes and all the rest of it. Who knows? I could be in the millions. Unlikely, but you never know. So to wrap up, this was about Carrie Green's She Means Business, her new book that's just come out. She is the head of the Female Entrepreneur Association based out of the UK. Definitely worth having a look. The members club, the freebies that she offers, and the workshops, I have found value in them, so I hope you would too. If you have taken advantage of the stuff that Carrie Green offers, I'd love to hear about it. You can leave a comment about successes that you've had or things you recommend. And as always, you can check out what's going on Twitter at MCVPloof, or you can find me on Instagram. I'm going to be getting more and more into Facebook, so hopefully we'll be having some conversations there as well. And just know that you have the guts and glory to make your own story. And I hope you're having a fantastic Wednesday. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.